Now, Lewis, this might be a bit of a different kind of pod to what we usually do. Usually, we'll sit here and give some very dodgy opinions on F1 or some dodgy touring car takes. However, this week, going a bit different.
Here we go into some actual facts.
Actual facts. So we had the great pleasure of speaking to a certain Chloe Grant.
Formula 4, GB4 racer.
GB4 F1 Academy racer. And we had the great pleasure of speaking to her, and she gave us some of her opinions on facts.
And some interesting insights.
Yeah, some very interesting insights of what the actual kind of
the world of
motorsport.
GB4 and junior racing, especially.
Exactly.
So
take a look at that. Have a little gander.
Ooh. Firstly, just introduce yourself, and just first question: what was the highlight of this year?
So I'm Chloe Grant. I'm an 18-year-old Scottish racing driver, and I've been racing for 11 years now. And highlight of this year, what did you say?
Yeah.
I'll say first podium in cars.
Was that Alton Park?
Yep.
Because I think that was the one we were at, Harvey.
Yeah, we did some filming around Alton Park when you got the podium. I remember that
one. Oh, that's really cool.
I remember specifically it was dreadful, the weather.
Yeah, the weather was shocking.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible weather.
Just going off that. Now we're in the off season, obviously. I've got just what kind of like prep goes on over the off season? Like what do you do across the while you're not? Is it just a lot of testing?
So typically, yeah, it would be lots of just like it's basically you're always in season because you're always in the car. Currently, that's not the case for me though, because I'm very, very indecisive about what I'm doing next year. So I actually don't know. So I don't have anything to currently test. And with money, it's not so easy to be like, oh, I'll just go try out this car, obviously, because it's still like one test day. You're going to be spending minimum six grand just for one day, and to risk not liking it to then not do it the next season, it's just so risky. So I'm trying to be smart about my decisions just now, championship wise and testing wise. So currently for me, it's just sim and gym at the minute. But I'm hoping to hopefully within the next month start some testing.
Yeah. So actually, I'll just bouncing off of that.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself like staying in single seaters or kind of branching out into what me and Harvey prefer, or be specifically into GTs and all that, like even touring cars?
Yeah, I definitely don't see myself staying in single seaters. I mean, we never even thought we would have the chance to go into it. So the fact we've managed to do it for the past 3 years it is a dream. It is pretty incredible. I'm very lucky that I got that opportunity. But it's got to a point where with just certain scenarios that I'm not allowed to speak about because I get in trouble, but with certain things happening where, a driver with more money can come in and easily take something off of you, even if you are quicker than them through the testing. Just things like that happens. It happens in all aspects of motorsport, but it does happen a lot more in single seaters, I feel. And we've just realized we're way too deep into a category that we literally cannot compete in. I mean, we don't have anywhere near the amount of money that we need to make it in single seater racing, me and my family. And I race off sponsorship as well. And even through that, I don't have enough. So yeah, I think we've realized it's been a dream, but it's too unrealistic. So unless I ever got the opportunity to do a second year in F1 Academy, or I got a ridiculously cheap drive in GB3, which is definitely not going to happen, but I wish it would. Yeah, I think we're moving more towards the GT routes now.
Yes. Just going off of that, with sponsorships being like a bit of an issue, how important is it to then kind of show yourself, because you've got quite a big following on social media? How important is that to kind of get everything you can out of it?
It is really important. I think it's different for every sponsor, though. I mean, you have to kind of find the things that each company or each person likes. So for example, between all my sponsors, it's all different things. Like one is mainly just social media, one is literally just wants a sticker on the car, one just wants to come to the races. So you just kind of have to find what everyone wants and approach them in that way. So you have to be really smart about what you're saying. But yeah, it's definitely a massive benefit so that when you're like showing them a proposal, you can have big numbers on it, which obviously is quite eye-catching. And it's now becoming important in getting drives, which I think is stupid. I mean, we've not had social media this entire time. Obviously, I like more our whole lives, it's almost been a thing the entire time. But like years and years ago, social media didn't matter at all, and it was just more about talent. Where like for some reason there was a drive I was trying to get, and like I got told I didn't have enough followers. It was like got 60,000. I was like, not enough. Like it's stupid. It shouldn't be about your following, your social media. It should be purely about what you do on track in the car. So yeah, I think that's more frustrating now. So I'm trying to stay away from championships and organizations that are like that, and more with people that are about what you can actually do. But yeah, for sponsorship wise, it is quite important. But as long as you find someone that more likes you as a person that wants to support you through your career, that is usually what I have found.
So wait, so you didn't get a drive because you didn't have enough followers? That's pretty mental.
Yeah.
Bounce it back to you, Harvey. I'll have to
Yeah.
process that.
Yeah, I would say I've when I heard that, then I'm like, wow, that's like it's a bit mad, really, isn't it? To say, somebody's turned you down. Like you could be like the best driver they've ever had, but they've turned you down because you've not enough followers. It's like, yeah, I understand, social media is quite a big thing for people nowadays, but I've seen people getting drives through their social following, through social media. It's like, do you think that could maybe be something that could put people off kind of going down avenues of motorsport if that's where they're going to look at it?
I would say when you're coming into the sport, you won't see it as much, so no. But when you get to the uh the level that I got to, like so last year, you'll see that it does matter. And I don't want to obviously name names, but I mean, if you just look close enough to what I did last year, you'll see there was favoritism in a certain person, and it was purely because of following and presence in the media. And it was just a bit crazy. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah.
With moving on to GTs as well, I think, and going off into that direction, what kind of I'm trying to think now. What kind of tracks do you aim at? Like, how much does that play in what kind of series of track goes? I'm trying to really lost my word now. What does the tracks a series visit kind of play into your mind with, where you want to get a seat?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't like racing in the UK, I'm going to be honest. Don't enjoy it. I
Too gloomy.
loved I loved I loved last year racing in Europe, and going over to America for that one round as well. It was so much better. Like even the like in terms of like track limit rules, it's so different, but it's better. And they're just better circuits. It's usually better weather. So yeah, for me personally, that does affect quite a bit in what I will decide to do. But the ultimate decision is the budget you have behind you. So that will be the ultimate this decider and where I go. But yeah, I would much rather be in Europe than I would be in the UK.
Yeah, because some tracks like Thruxton, their answer to track limits is those big like barriers on the corners, which is a bit mental to me.
Yeah, it's just
But
for example, more in the UK, it's kind of what is it? It's something stupid like if you have what is it? So the difference is it's the white line in the UK, but in Europe it's the curb. So you can go a bit
Yeah.
off the curb and it won't matter. Whereas here they're like they penalise you for it, and it's just no stupid.
Yeah, I've noticed actually a lot of tracks in UK are a lot older as well. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I get what you mean by that. It does seem more appealing to go race in Europe than it would do stay here. I mean, plus the weather's better anyway, so plus sides to it all.
Yeah.
especially for us, I don't think there was an event we went to last year which wasn't rained out at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that is true.
It was
Oh.
actually everything we went to abroad had the weather compared to.
Yeah.
But so, what is your favorite like track? Just to not even just to race on, just to even watch from. Like, what's some of your best experiences with that?
Um, I was gonna say the favorite track I've raced on, which is Zandvoort. That was good. That was really fun. I really liked that.
All the banked corners. Is
Yeah,
it
it's
how
just
much?
it's so different.
I was about to like ask how different is it to race along that compared to say I don't know with the banked corners? How much difference does it add compared to just the
A
normal?
normal track.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
getting a bit lost there.
it's just one of those tracks where it's like where you qualify, you almost basically just finish there because it's so hard to overtake because it's just such a fast flowing track. But we actually we had one driver when we were driving there last year. So obviously, if you've seen Zandvoort, you know you go up basically as high up the banking as you can possible in like turn three. And we had one driver who literally just drove in the middle of it, and it was ridiculously slow. Like they were way slower than all of us, but because they were sat in the middle, no one could pass. So they were basically just defending the whole time, and it actually worked out quite well for them. But yeah, it is just an either lunge someone and pray don't crash, or just stay where you are kind of track. But yeah, qualifying and testing was so much fun.
Back to you, Harvey.
Yeah, I would say just kind of skipping back a bit. Yeah, we touched on how like the money side of things now is getting ridiculous with motorsport as a whole. Because I remember, it's tripled, even like quadrupled in pricing just for a standard like GB3, GB4 kind of drive nowadays. Do you see as something potentially getting a lot worse kind of as we go on? Because I mean, obviously inflation, everything in general, but I think it could affect because the potential lack of talent from the people who maybe can't afford those drives. I think that could maybe have an effect in the future.
Definitely. I mean, like, I mean, I know the budgets. I mean, it's like GB4 was really affordable, but next year it's not. But and in all fairness, it is because of the new car. But I actually don't really understand how it's gone up so much. Because so I don't know if I'm allowed to give these numbers up, but I'm gonna. So like the past couple of years, GB4 has been like minimum 100 grand. I mean, I know people have spent way more than that, but if you have the money, teams are going to ask you for more. And then next year, it's minimum going to be like 200, but the average quote's like around 250. So I mean, some people are almost quoting 300, which is just a scam at that point. But the cars are not costing them that much. What was it again? It was so the current car, so the Gen 2 cars that they've been driving on the past couple of years, so they cost them like 30 or 40. And then, but the company that obviously are taking the cars back, they're going to buy them back for like 25. So I'm pretty sure it's 30. So you're only losing, I mean, 5 grand per car. But then the new cars themselves are not that much more. So I don't understand how the budget's gone up by like over 100 grand. Do you know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah,
bit confusing. But GB3 I understand because that is a fully brand new car. There's like that is going to be stupidly fast, that
yeah,
car. So I understand why that's gone up so much, but that was like minimum 350 and now it'll be more around 500.
yeah. And so there's a big price jumps there, like massive price jumps. And I guess, like you said, it is mainly probably to do with the kind of the new gen, the more high tech kind of cars coming in. But it is getting to the point now where can be quite unaffordable for quite a lot of drivers.
Yeah.
Does it also affect if you can't obviously bring as much money as say a teammate in a similar car? Does it affect what kind of equipment that you're able to get? Do you reckon?
I would like to say no, but yeah, it does. At the end of the day, if someone does bring them more money, the team are most likely to give them because there is a difference in cars. I mean, I wish we say they're all the same. Yeah, they're all very similar, but there is differences. I mean, if you study it enough, if you look at different drivers that have been in, if you knew like the chassis numbers and what drivers were in each car, there is differences. So yeah, the more you are more likely to be a bit more biased to the person that's given them more money, and that's just motorsport.
Yeah, yeah,
But so we'll go to something just a bit more positive, I reckon. We spoke a lot about the numbers and budgets. Just in general, like because you said you've been racing, what was it, 11, 12, 13, 14 years? A
11.
long time. 11. Was there right the first time. So where did it originally start? Because you seem to be coming like through this first generation of women in motorsports who are competing at the same level as men consistently.
Mhm.
So where did it first start?
So I started in 2013 in karting, and I started purely just because my sister was doing karting, like only for a year more. So I started 2013, she started 2012. And she started because she saw the Ayrton Senna movie, and she literally just went to Dad, I want to do that. And so my dad has always loved motorsport, but he never had any boys, got three girls, so he didn't think there'd be any hope. Um, but he did a bit of karting himself, not a lot, literally just for some fun. So he had contacts in the karting world, and he got in contact with a guy called Hamish. Hamish is in his 70s now. Um, and Hamish helped Lucy start karting. He didn't own a team, but he kind of ran us like a team. And then when I wanted to start, he helped me as well. And then eventually Lucy stopped when she was 18 years old because she went to Canada for a year to coach skiing. And then I've never stopped since I started.
Yeah, so I believe you're an ambassador for Girls on Track. How important is that to progress like young people's careers?
Um, it's kind of weird. It's so before Girls on Track was Girls on Track, it was called Dare to Be Different. And it was started up by Susie Wolf. And the first ever event was at Knock Hill, and I was there. But I was there like not with my school, but I knew it was going on, and I was in racing, so I joined a random school for the day. Um, and I was at that event, and then so I've been there since day one, and then I eventually started doing events, and then when it turned to Girls on Track, yeah, they made me an ambassador, which is pretty cool. So it just meant I was doing more like events. I'd be more on the panel rather than helping out with activities, and I'd get to chat to the girls for quite a while and answer any questions that they had. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's weird because I was the school kid one day, and now I'm on the panel that I used to watch. So yeah, it's weird, but it's good. I like to know that I've made not I don't want to say made it, but I like to know that I've succeeded enough to be able to do something like that, and that I'm in a position where I can be looked at as a role model for younger girls, and I can try my best to influence a positive attitude and positive look on motorsport for the younger generation.
Well, you're living proof that it's possible.
Yeah, I guess.
Going from back to you, Harvey.
Yeah. Yeah, he's said some really great stuff, I think. It is nice to kind of know how it is kind of progressing forwards. I mean, we've seen some great women come up through motorsport, one of them being yourself. And I think, do you see, like, obviously, I don't know if you've seen, but with the new F3 kind of car, they've kind of, I'd heard from the FIA that they kind of built it round to be able to fit everybody in a sense, so to kind of bring everybody kind of together. So they've matched it sort of with the W Series car and with the current F3 car in a sense, to hopefully broaden the outreach to both men and women within the sport. And do you think this is something that could potentially help drive forwards, maybe?
I mean, it's positive, but it doesn't change the budget. The budget's just
Yeah.
gone up. It's the money at the end of the day, in my opinion. I think for some reason everyone keeps trying to cover up how expensive this sport is. I don't understand why. I mean, like the amount of like purely just F1 fans, not motorsport fans, F1 fans, because you'll know yourself. There's a massive difference. The F1 fans are just brainwashed and purely just think that's the only sport out there and that it's not the rest of motorsport. And
Yeah.
like we did, what was it? We did me and Bianca Bustamante, we did a podcast episode with the Fast and Curious pod. We did it at the Silverstone Grand Prix, and they posted a clip from it. And still to this day, it gets comments, and I have to ignore them because I never really get hate on my stuff, if I'm being honest. Like the occasional thing, but I just ignore it because it doesn't matter. Literally, if you go into the sport, you'll realize how like, these people that are making stupid comments about your gender, if they actually worked in the sport, they'd be so embarrassed because no male, no female in the sport actually cares what gender you are. We're all just there doing our jobs, and we actually all become a really close friends and family. So they would realize how stupid they are. But on that reel that they made from that segment me and Bianca did, there was so much hate on it, but it was clearly just F1 fans and not motorsport fans. They had zero clue what they were talking about. Like I just have to ignore them because it actually annoys me the lack of knowledge they have, not the things they're saying. Yeah, it's just people don't realize about the money. Like it, okay, oh, why is there not a female on F1? Well, it's not that like I say it all the time, it's not that deep, is it? Like the difference in the numbers, of course, there's not going to be one right now in terms of percentages of men and women. And then you try do a normal F4 championship, like not GB4, like British F4, you're spending minimum 350,000. Then you want to do GB3, there you go, almost 500,000. FIA Freca, sorry, which I don't know if Freca's dying off soon, but well, Freca 700,000, like around there. FIA3, it was 1.2 last year. God knows what it is this year. And then FIAF2, I think they've not changed their car, have they? No, they changed the car last year. They were like, was it 2.7 or something like that? Like this is millions and millions and millions. How can you expect everyone to have that? We just don't. Like I can't even afford a British F4 season, so I'm not going to afford to make it up through to F1, am I? Just use your head. I can't stand it.
Yeah, because I saw there was a driver do a movement in the Porsche Carreras last year, and they basically stated that it was roughly around 33 million just for somebody to try and even make it up to F1 without even getting a drive. And
Oh, was that Gus that said that?
I think so. The
Yeah,
pricing is ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. It's stupid. It's impossible. I mean, there is an occasional opportunity where people might fund you. And in all fairness, I mean, there are drivers that are good enough, but you have to be unreal to get like financially supported. I mean, a really good example, a good friend of mine, Deegan, who just won British F4. I mean, I've known Deegan since we were in Saxos together, like a Citroen Saxo. What? Like, it's such a strange car to race. And that kid has always been so talented and just so ballsy. And he would like literally, you do a move and you think you're insane. I don't know why he's gone for that, but it would work. And he's obviously getting financially supported because he can't afford it, but he's doing GB3 next year. And I really, really, really hope people stay with him the whole way because he is one kid that I know genuinely could not afford it, but he has so much talent that he could make it. So I'm really, really glad that Deegan got that opportunity with Rocket and with High Tech. But that's the thing, that's one kid out of how many? So
Yeah,
there's so many out there that haven't been given the opportunity, and I do feel for them. I just hope they don't turn it into a negative energy because you can see quite a lot of kids getting like angry, and be like, "Oh, I wish I had the money to do this," in comments, and they can turn to say nasty things. Like there is other ways. I mean, sim racing, it's still a massive thing. You can actually earn quite a lot of money from sim racing. Go and
yeah,
sim race, earn enough, and then start racing yourself. Look at what like Lucas Blakely's done. Lucas has done a great job from just doing sim racing.
yeah. And so these like you said, there are some really, really talented drivers out there who just simply can't make it because of the budgets. So they kind of
Yeah.
limited to where they can go. Um, I think it is, it is quite sad to see, really.
Do you think, like coming from, and I'm very glad someone has said that something about F1 fans because I quite agree with a lot of the new generation of, well, I'd say that I'm technically one of them, but all these people who've come in from, I will say because I technically started watching I've been watching for years, but everyone's coming from Drive to Survive
Yeah.
seems to have, they don't really seem to understand what and I won't say I do because I don't, but they don't seem to appreciate how much goes into it and what goes on behind the scenes to just drive in the first place.
Yeah, I think people need to remember Drive to Survive is so dramatized,
Mhm.
like massively. Like I can't watch it because it cringes me out so much. Um, like oh, I mean, obviously I don't know all the secrets of F1, but when I was a bit closer to it last year, I knew some things that were going on, but it's just more like it's literally just there's the occasional drama, but it's nowhere near what Netflix make it out to be. And please, just I don't know why people don't just think before they comment. Like, just do your research. Just even stay quiet. I don't know what the need is, even on things not to do with motorsport nowadays. People are so full of this like anger and hatred, and I don't know why. And they feel the need to comment on any single detail. I mean, like, say someone's got like you comment on someone's body on TikTok or something like that. I'm like, what? Like, you don't know the person and you don't know what they're going through. Why? Like, why? I just don't get it. People just need to shut up and actually, you know what? My mum should be an influencer because she always says, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say it, which is very true. Just move on. And it doesn't affect your life. So why comment anything? The only thing we need to be commenting on is some of the things that Danica Patrick is saying. But apart from that, let's just shut up, okay?
Yeah,
Fully
definitely.
agreed. Fully agreed. I think see both me and Harvey's eyes lit up at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we agree with that one.
Do you think part of the problem with that is the amount of dramatization that's gone into it is kind of got people into that mindset of they have to act like that, and it's just made them not really sort of think?
I don't know. I don't know if it's become like normalized to just be rude. I don't know. I mean, so many things have changed. Like, I mean, I could probably talk about this for hours about the amount of things that changed. I mean, men and women have changed massively. You know, guys used to be more respectful, but girls used to have more class. No one's in the right. But no one's in the wrong as well, I guess, because we're all just adapting as humans. But I think I just wish everyone would just stop for a second and just take a chill pill and just think before you do, because some of the things I see, I mean, I don't know if you, I don't even want to talk about it, but there's one like fully grown woman I've seen on TikTok who's doing some very suspicious things, not to do with motorsport. Do you know the name Bonnie?
Oh yeah.
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 Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? Come on
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah,
just,
I get what
I
you
don't
mean.
understand what these people are doing. Can we just, also, these people are like 13 years old, even younger, that are on these apps and they're seeing all this stuff. And then they're seeing the hate as well. So, yeah, I guess it's becoming normalized because these younger generations are seeing it, then they start doing it. I mean, my wee cousins who are like 8 years old, got kids in their class have got iPhones.
Yeah.
What? I
Yeah,
didn't have an
it's,
iPhone until I was like 15.
yeah. Yeah, I think the way things are going doesn't really help with the positivity or lack of positivity, should I say? But
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
I could talk about that for hours.
well,
That's
it has been,
advice to live by.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
agreeable advice. If you don't
Yeah,
have anything
definitely,
nice to say, just shush.
just shush. That's a
yeah,
nice way of saying it. I was gonna say just shut up.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
it has
think,
been great
as I was
speaking to
about to
you.
say,
Yeah, go on,
Thank
Lewis. I'll let you
you.
take this.
firstly, thank you for coming on to actually take time out of your day to speak to us.
No
Um,
worries.
is there anything anything you want to say to end it off?
Um, yeah, the fact I completely sidetracked from motorsport and just spoke about life. Yeah,
Fine.
just I don't know. Anyone who wants to join motorsport, just go for it. I can understand how from someone outside looking in that the media can look quite scary, but no one actually cares. And the people who are actually in the sport who you work with will value you. And they're all really, really kind. I mean, I've worked with a team that have won the F2 and F3 championship in Freck and won all sorts, and they couldn't care less about who I was or what my gender was. They just wanted to help me improve as a driver. So that's all I need in my life is validation to know that I'm where I'm meant to be, and I don't need you just ignore people's comments. Yeah, just go for it. Chase your dreams.
We had a little, good time speaking to Chloe. She gives very, very
Yeah.
good opinions, I think.
Some very interesting things, especially around the budgets and everything.
Yeah, and kind of getting that insight into what kind of goes on behind the scenes that we might not actually see.
Yeah, and once again, big pleasure to talk to her.
Yeah, it is.
Go give her a follow out on Instagram, TikTok, wherever.
I'm sure we'll be tagging it down below and everything.
And also, you will be watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
We are also on Instagram, TikTok, and X at LH_Talkspin Sport.
Or at Talk SNS.
Yeah,
On
at
X.
Talk SNS on X. And you will be wanting to follow us because we could have some more interviews
There might
lined
be
up in
some
the
more
future.
coming in the future.
Yeah, and if you are a GB4, F4, F3 racer and would like to talk to us,
Or in any form of motorsport. We're not just categorising here.
give us a call.
Give us a ring.
But that is it from us this week. We will be back with our regularly scheduled podcasts very soon.
Yeah.